Hey there, listeners and viewers. We are here with another episode of the Power of Nine podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Eggert. Today's guest is an advocate for people and organizations focused on aligning their real estate strategy with their overall business strategy. He's also a fellow hobby farmer, and we might just skip all the business bullshit and just get right to the
Yeah.
farming stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
should
I
we do
like
that?
that.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
All right, let's get into it with my friend and learn about his journey. Tim Olsen, welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, we were just doing a little bit of small talk before we get this thing going, and this is your first podcast, and I love having first timers because we're just a couple dudes talking, right?
Yep. I like it. Take
Yeah,
it easy
man.
on me.
Yeah, I'll take it easy on you. All right, so let's dive in. So where were you born and raised, and give me a little bit of a paint me a little bit of a picture of your family dynamics growing up, because I have a feeling that kind of shaped who you are now.
Yeah, it most certainly did. So I grew up in Cottage Grove, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Kind of bumped around that town, multiple houses. There are six kids in my family.
Hmm.
I'm the second oldest. My brother Josh is 6 years older than me. So he was kind of out of the picture, out of the house pretty early. He lived with his old man in Lakeland for
Yeah.
most of the time. So I was kind of the old sibling of the house and kind of relied upon a lot by my siblings. And so most of actually my siblings, and technically they're half siblings.
Hmm.
My mom was married, been married four times, but we didn't really look at each other as halves. So just
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, there's six of us, five of us in the house, and yep, I was the oldest one.
Did that, one of the things that we always talk about in the show is the nature versus nurture. And, as you've progressed through your career, you had to mature pretty fast, I think, as a kid. Did that also play a positive contribution in the long run to how you approach your career?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back at it, yeah, it really helped me. During the times of growing up, it felt like a lot of pressure, and it was just really hard and unfair,
Hmm.
having to grow up so fast and help with making meals for the my brothers and sisters, and kind of just I had a lot of responsibilities growing up, and like I said, it felt unfair. But looking back at it, boy, I feel like that's what's helped excel my career and really give me just a real drive in life.
Yeah. Do you remember a specific time when you were a kid where you're like, shit, I am an adult, but I am a child.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up, we were pretty poor,
Yeah.
right? We were on food stamps and government assistance. And for some reason, growing up, I was really embarrassed by that.
Hmm.
I'd get free lunches at school,
Hmm.
and yeah, I'm just ashamed of it. I don't know why, but I got a job as soon as I could. I think I was 13 years old, and I had a lot of jobs growing up. It was kind of cool, kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I worked one day as a dishwasher at a Chinese restaurant, and just I couldn't do it. There's too many language barriers, and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
And then I started pushing carts at Rainbow. So I'd ride my bike down to Rainbow Foods and start pushing carts. That was really my first job, and it was great. So I could bring some money into the house for my own pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was kind of always the kid that really couldn't do much. One, I had to babysit, and two, I didn't have any money, and I always
Yeah.
felt
Right.
bad asking my friends, "Hey, dude, could you pay for me?"
Yeah.
So I just started working. It was great.
Yeah. So with the dynamics in your family, you said your mom was married four times, and there's just a lot of movement going on in that. Who played a pivotal role from like a father figure standpoint as you were growing up?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know the answer to that. It's actually, I
Yeah.
would say, two fathers.
Yeah.
My two best friends' dads. One of them was a very successful real estate guy, really had his shit together, just dressed nice, was always on the phone wheeling and dealing. And I was like, I kind of want to be like John. He's just like a stud. Like that's my idol.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then my other best friend's dad, Mr. Reimers, he worked at the post office, just salt to earth guy, tied his shoes at 6 in the morning and worked all day, and just it's like God, he's another great guy, just a family guy, loves his, like just families first. And so those two dads had different dynamics, but I tried to take the best of both of them and just incorporate that into my life.
Yeah. And what's fascinating about that is I've known you for years, and, like I said in the opening, you're a buddy. So I think that, you've got the professional side to you, but and we'll talk about this in a little bit when we get to part of your journey, but like you're also got, and I think I take some pride in this with myself, is like there's almost a little bit of a blue collar edge, right? And I don't like the white collar, blue collar stigma at all, but I think in this situation, it lends itself to the conversation. But I do feel like you're unapologetic in that who you are and that authenticity of like, you're not the typical, you're not going to rock a three-piece suit and something that you get from, some tailored place or something like that, dropping 3-4 grand on a suit. You're more of the, you're going to wear nice clothes and stuff like that. But I can feel like you're a little bit of the guy's guy or a little bit more on the blue collar side. And the way that you explain those two individuals from a mentorship standpoint, it almost is like you are a perfect composition of the two coming together into one person.
Yeah. I'd say there's a lot of truth to that. Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling today I'm very blue collar. I love what I do, and I feel so blessed to be in the position I am in my career. But I can't ask my wife. If you ever get to talk to her, she gets frustrated with me because I like to go home and bust the chainsaw out. And chop wood, split wood, do all the things outside is what I would prefer to be doing. That's a little bit of that blue collar, just kind of grunted out mentality.
Yeah. I grew up in a middle-class family as well. And, I think, you dealt with challenges that I didn't deal with, right, from that perspective. But both of my parents my dad was a laborer. My mom worked part-time as an office manager and then obviously elevated through her career. But I think that appreciation for not having to do the same things that my dad did, or not having to do the same things that some of the people that you saw that surrounded you that creates that appreciation. And I don't take any of the stuff that I have / get to do for granted. And I feel that from you.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't take anything for granted. We're so fortunate. Sometimes I'll catch myself complaining about something and I'll put myself in my own shoes very quickly.
Give yourself a cuff upside the head. So tell me a little bit. So sports, what kind of like, if you were dealing with a lot of those, that parental responsibility at a young age, were you able to get into sports and do some of the things that were a little bit more on the extracurricular side?
Yeah, I got super lucky with after my mom and dad were divorced. I think I was about 6 years old. And I've always played sports, like as a little child with my older brother, throwing the football, skating on the pond, but I was never in any type of organized sport. But I was always an athletic and pretty good athlete. So at 6, when my parents got divorced, my mom married her second husband, and he was into hockey. So he actually had a son as well, but his son didn't participate, wasn't the hockey kind of guy. He didn't like it. But he got me involved at 7 years old, and I loved hockey. It was great. So that was my sport every year. It was awesome. Actually, my aunt and uncle would sign me up because we didn't have the money. So they would always sign me up.
Wow.
And, my mom worked nights, and my stepdad at the time I don't know, he just kind of took a back seat into his priorities and get me to stuff. So for a couple of years, I was always on the C teams and the worst teams. And as I got older, maybe around 6th grade, when I started talking to my buddies about how are you on that team? I just don't understand how you guys are on that team. And all my friends are over here and I'm always on this bad team and doing pretty well. They're like, well, dude, you got to go to tryouts. Tryouts? You guys are trying out for these teams? So then once I found out you could try out to make the A teams, I started to play with my friends, which was awesome.
So with all the, so you said your mom worked nights, you've had obviously a lot of movement in father figures, right? With multiple stepdads and stuff like that. And then you put hockey on top of that. Hockey is especially if you're making the A team and you're trying out for teams, stuff like that, you're all the time you're at hockey, right? Even then, now it's a shit show, right? With kids and getting ice time for a 6-year-old kid at 9:00 at night and weird stuff like that. But even then, I remember I didn't play hockey, but my buddies that all played hockey, it was they were always playing hockey and they were always driving somewhere and having to go somewhere. How did you manage all of that?
It was super hard. Back then there wasn't internet. We're gonna age ourselves a little bit here, but there wasn't internet, and you were given a 2-page sheet of everybody's home addresses, contact, and phone numbers. And there was a couple kids that lived kind of by me that were on my team, but I would say my parents probably gave me a ride 1 out of 10 times. And those 9 other times, they're like, skip it. Don't go. We're not bringing you. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I made this team. I'm committed. And this was kind of like my escape too, to get out of the house.
Yeah. Right.
So I had to strategize, and I had to pick up the phone, because you're not texting your buddies. You're not texting, you had to fit the house phone and say, Mrs. Reimers, Mr. Reimers, Mr. Erickson, Lofgren, whoever it was.
Yeah.
And I would make notes on the paper on who brought me last, and I would strategize, where's the game at? So who could kind of swing through town on their way and grab me? I would just try to figure out to be as less of a convenience for the parents. But it turned out a couple of the parents kind of took a liking to me, and they're like, you know what? After a couple of years, like, we're just going to get you. We got you. We don't want you to stress out about this anymore, because it was always super stressful for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was your intro. So you're a sales guy, right? Like that was your intro into cold calling.
I've never been scared to cold call since that, because that was as a 10-year-old having a cold call parents.
Dude. Yeah. Some, and parents of like friends that aren't really like super, super tight and don't know you that well. You're calling up Mr. Erickson or Mr. Reimers or Mr. Lofgren. Like, that has got to be intimidating. I couldn't have done that at 10, dude.
Yeah, dude, it was super intimidating. And I figured out very fast, like, what dads, if we lost the game, would be pissed off at their kids and make the car ride miserable. Like, I'm done with that, Dad.
Yeah,
so
no kidding.
Down the list. So you just kind of navigated the right people. It was tough, but you know what? Totally segued into in my first career, which we don't need to get into that, but I've always had to do business development and build my network. And it's never scared me. It's just, all they're going to do is say, no, we can't get you. We can't come pick you up. Call somebody else. And parents, they did that a lot. So I'd have to go down the list and see who would grab me.
In high school, were you a good student?
I wish I could say I was a phenomenal student, 4.0. But I wasn't a bad student. I didn't apply myself, but there wasn't really any. It was a free for all. Like, I didn't have I wasn't asked how's school going. My parents didn't go to conferences. Like, it was, my brother, I think he might have graduated on time or right after. So I knew I wanted to go to college. I was friends with a lot of the older guys. Yeah. And they're going to Mankato, and they're going to wherever they're going, Notre Dame. And I was like, gosh, like, I want to live a better life. And I think this is what you have to do. So I did want to go to college, but I just didn't have the structure at home to or internally to figure out. I was probably like a B- C+ type of student. So my actually first year out of high school, I went to a community college. I got denied at St. Thomas and at the U, and everywhere I applied, nobody wanted me. One, we didn't have any money. Two, I wasn't a great student, and I didn't score great on my tests. So I went to community school, and that was actually one of the best things for me. I'm still working. At this time, I was the manager of the ice arena. It was awesome. It's like my favorite job, driving the Zamboni. It was just around hockey. Everybody in the community knew me growing up, because then I knew their kids. It was an awesome job. So I'm working at the ice arena full-time, going to Ember Hills Community College full-time. And just put my head down and knew where I wanted to get. And I knew I wanted to get to a 4-year school. So all my friends were gone doing their jam, and I had fun. Don't get me wrong. I'd go visit them on the weekends when I could. But school was first. And I got pretty darn good grades that first year at Ember Hills, which allowed me to transfer the next year to St. Cloud State.
Harvard of the North.
So, I was the first kid in my family to go to college. Not just community college. I bought a 4-year university, so it was awesome.
Yeah. Did you take great pride in that? I can already kind of feel the sense of where you're going to go with this, but like, was it when you were accepted into St. Cloud, was there just an immense sense of pride that you were able to go there, which drove you to get to apply yourself?
100%, man. I was so proud of myself. I never thought I would do it. Thought I would get stuck in Cottage Grove working at some job where I was just felt like I'm not doing what I really can do. So it was a really good feeling for me.
All right, let's take a quick break here. Let's listen to a few of our community supporters. I want to dive into your career a little bit, learn about your first job and then how you got into real estate. So let's take a quick break here. Listen to a few of our community supporters. We'll be right back.
Kaisa Wealth Management treats each client like a member of the family. Acting as your personal CFO, we are fiercely devoted to your financial prosperity. At Kaisa, our wealth strategies are aligned with your core values, creating a wealth plan centered around the legacies you wish to create. This is our Kaisa commitment. Our wealth strategies are dynamic and tailor-made for your long-term goals because as a family investment firm, excellence in service is not just a promise, it's our baseline. Whether it's selling a business, planning succession, creating a legacy, navigating life's changes like death and divorce, supporting executives on the move, planning for your retirement, or just preserving your family wealth, we are here for you. Find out how we can help to simplify your wealth at kaisawealth.com.
Every year brings new challenges for Minnesota business leaders, and USI Insurance is here to take the pressure off of the employee benefits decision. Having a local presence with national resources, USI combines a client-centric culture with leading-edge technical resources so you can make an informed decision on your benefits investment. The USI team has been deeply committed to investing into our local communities and utilizes their expertise to provide solutions you can count on to protect your greatest asset, your employees. USI has been partnering with Twin Cities businesses for decades, and they would welcome the opportunity to do the same for you. Visit USI.com to learn how USI's approach to risk management and employee benefits delivers customized, actionable solutions with bottom-line impact. As a boutique Twin Cities-based investment banking firm, Madera Partners works closely with family, founder, and management-owned businesses, bringing over 25 years of experience and hundreds of successful transactions to the table. It's in their DNA to educate owners on what potential exit opportunities look like, along with any industry or company-specific things to think about to make your business more attractive to potential buyers. Regardless if you want to sell tomorrow or in 10 years, the team at Madera Partners would love to provide their expertise and guidance along the way. Take some time to explore their website at maderapartners.com. Madera Partners, your life's work deserves our best work.
Verseek Search and Consulting is thrilled to support Coalition9 for an exciting year ahead. Verseek is a Minnesota-based, high-performance recruiting firm that specializes in interim solutions, direct hire, and executive leadership search. Our team of experienced professionals and seasoned leaders across various areas of expertise and industries have been in your shoes. Your company's success hinges on the capacity of your people, and few areas of your business are more critical than your finance and accounting team. You need talent who can move the needle while winning the trust of leaders and stakeholders in your organization. Your people make it possible. Verseek can help connect you with the talented candidates within finance and accounting for consulting or direct hire needs, as well as within other industry areas in executive search, direct hire, and interim solutions. People are the ultimate business advantage. Find your people together with Verseek and make the best possible for your business. Learn more by visiting Verseek.com and by following Verseek on LinkedIn.
Tell me if this sounds familiar. Your business is having challenges with adding revenue, or you're ready for quicker growth and scale. Your sales team lacks a coach or mentor to help guide and excel their production. And you're not quite sure who the best resource is for sourcing and replacing sales professionals on your team. When you're looking for a company that provides sales solutions that drive growth, look up SalesHomie. SalesHomie is the premier fractional CRO or VP sales agency, additionally offering sales recruiting and placement services, sales leadership coaching, and sales team training programs. Don't put your business at risk with low revenues and uninspired sales professionals. Learn more about SalesHomie by visiting their website at saleshomie.com. SalesHomie, sales solutions that drive growth. When you think of a typical CPA firm, you probably think of tax planning. Well, that just scratches the surface of what Boulay offers their clients. By providing smart, in-depth thinking from experts in accounting, audit, tax, and business consulting, they know what it takes to achieve financial success. Whether it's protecting your business, building your wealth, or securing your future, you can count on Boulay to go beyond addressing just financial matters and providing you with tailor-made, workable solutions. Learn about all they have to offer at bouleygroup.com. Boulay, helping you get there.
Are you a local business owner looking to take your enterprise to the next level? Look no further than Security Bank and Trust Company, your partner in growth. Our dedicated team of smart, experienced bankers understand the unique challenges and opportunities facing businesses like yours. With personalized financial solutions and expert advice, we're here to help you succeed every step of the way. From tailored business loans to cutting-edge digital banking services, Security Bank and Trust is committed to your success. Experience the difference a local bank can make. Visit us today at any of our convenient locations or online at security-banks.com. Security Bank and Trust, growing together.
All right, we're back with Tim Olsen. Let's dive into that career, man. All right, so you go to school, you've got the community college under your belt. let's fast forward a little bit. You're done with your 4-year. And then what was your first, I'm going to use air quotes here, real job out of college?
Yeah, I was a financial advisor at Mass Mutual. So
I don't see you being I can see why, I can't see you doing that.
Oh, dude, I was, we'll get to the reason, a lot of these reasons why I didn't like it, but yeah, it was just like people put their superhero suit on, and I was putting like this other suit on, like that made me not who I was. I was like, this is like not me. But, at the career fair at St. Cloud State, his name is Tom Zanovich, who was my, call it my boss, mentor, whatever you want. He had a great dude, nice Rolex watch. He was from Texas. He had this deep voice, great accent. And I was like, holy shit, like, maybe I want to be like that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we got along very, very well. We're actually, from a distance, friends still today. Cool. So I started at Mass Mutual, got my Series 6, got my Series 63, 7, life insurance, kind of all the accolades and licenses you need to get to sell insurance and securities. Mm-hmm. Man, I didn't know what I got into at all. Yeah. Like, it was, okay, dude, first you start off by literally writing down all your friends and family on postcards and contact information. So when you start, you can just start calling everybody that you know in your network. I mean, I'm 24 years old. Like, who wants to work with me? I don't know what I'm doing or, what's going on. And I'm telling these people they need insurance. Life insurance.
You're going from calling them to get a ride 10 years prior to hockey to then having to call them to see if you can manage their finances. That's gotta be tough, man.
Yeah, it was hard. And it was like, hey, push this product, do that. And I was like, I thought we're like trying to help people here. We're not even listening, really. We're just pushing this certain product type on them because you make more fees. And it was just super weird. And I didn't like it. It felt like I needed to shower every time I got home because it was a little slimy. It did feel that way. Yeah. Now, I have a financial advisor and I trust them, and there are great ones out there, but I didn't think I was being pointed in the right direction. Yeah. And we were calling homes late at night and set meetings at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday because it just wasn't what I wanted to do. It didn't feel good, but it helped me immensely in my career that I'm into today. Just with business development and talking to people. And so when I got into this career, it was because I was sitting down with one of my best friend's brothers who has the same dad as who I idolized, John Appert.
Yeah.
I was sitting down with Abe Appert, who's actually in our industry as well. He's a investment side, sells apartments at CB. But I set up a meeting with him, and I knew he was like 30 years old, just had a kid. And I'm like, he's going to need disability insurance and life insurance. And man, we just talked. It was cool. We just talked, and I was like, tell me about what you do, Abe. And after that meeting, and we didn't talk about insurance or anything. It was, can you give me a couple numbers of guys I can talk to in your industry? Because I'd love to I'm interested. Yeah. And so it started there. And I met with multiple people and had a couple offers on the table. And I started at Welsh Companies back in 2005.
Yeah. So the Doyles, like that, right? Were you back in those days? And I mean, the reputation that they had in the Twin Cities and stuff like that. And I think in those times, I think that your industry has evolved a little bit, and especially the way you approach commercial real estate is different than a lot of the people that I've met in the past too. So paint me a little bit of a picture of like what that was like to be in commercial real estate, which I think is there. I could see some similarities to how some of the big firms run, like a Mass Mutual or run like a big financial services company. So, so what was that world like?
I chose Welsh Companies because I love their entrepreneurship mentality. People will say they were like the cowboys of commercial real estate. They were wild and crazy and doing things different. It was just a local privately held company, 60 brokers. We were very big, and I was on a team. So when you work at these big corporations, there's teams within these companies. And I was on a team with great mentors. Actually, the guys, Peter Moore, Jason Simic, Steve Nilsson, Peter and Jason are the second largest industrial landlord in town today. They're very dynamic. And Jason was just a couple years older than me, and he was doing very well. So I kind of looked up to these guys. But they were involved in ownership. They were involved with working with landlords, and they were doing some tenant representation. And just like at Mass Mutual, they said, here you go, dude. You're going to start calling around, and you find us meetings, make us money, because we are teaching you and you're getting a salary that's like $18,000. So get us meetings. And that's what I did. And I didn't have to call people's homes. I'm calling people's businesses, talking about real estate and how I can help them. And it was such an easy call. I was like, people want to talk about this. I have great information that I can share. So it was a different call and a much easier call. And it was more warm. And I'm like, oh my God. So I could do this all day. And so I did pretty well. I was very successful in getting meetings and finding assignments. So it was great.
Do you think that because you had such a good hit ratio on getting meetings, turning that call into a face-to-face was because of what you were selling, because it is one of, besides people, I've always heard real estate is probably one of the biggest investments a business is going to need to make. And that's maybe evolving with technology. But so that, or was it your style?
I think it was both.
Yeah.
Right. I was able to provide really good information and data, but I listened to what was important to them. So I'm not just pushing stuff and sending emails I'm just, okay, what's important? You own your building. Tell me about it. Why do you own it versus lease it? And it was really just listening and being curious when I'm on the phones. And that's how I was able to get meetings and get information from potential prospects. So for me, it wasn't pushy. I wasn't selling anything. I have information. I want to share it with you. But first, what's important? My biggest thing when I was a financial advisor, we came into the meeting and didn't listen, but we just talked about all of our great products and how we can help them and do this, but we haven't even listened to them yet. How do we know it? How do we know what's important? So I always took that approach in commercial real estate on, let's talk, let's have a conversation. And then from there, we can choose together if I'm a good fit, if I can add value or not.
Yeah. So I feel like in your industry, when you start out, you got to jump after you get, because otherwise you just kind of get as a early stage, just you smiler and dialer and stuff like that. You got to jump firms a little bit in order to, because they got to recognize the skills that you bring. I don't really feel like like a lot of people that I know in the industry, in your industry, they'll spend 2 years here and then they'll jump and then they'll get a promotion and they'll go 2 years here, then they'll go 2 years here and then they'll go 2 years. And then they finally settle in a place in a team that they feel comfortable with. And then it's a monumentous move to go from one firm to the next, right? And it's usually a whole team moves where you kind of buck the system a little bit on that, where you've only been a few places.
I've been three spots. Yeah, I've been three. Yeah. You're actually pretty spot on with what you just said. I've been at three companies. So Welsh companies, I was there for 4 years, and it's like a little bit of our industry is like this, but Carlson Partners is different. This is the reason why we built our company the way we did, because you get put on a team. Yep. And on my team, I call it the fourth out of four. Mm-hmm. And to climb the ladder, somebody else has to go away or take less of a fee if you want to get involved in their team. Now it's just a bigger pie to split up. Right. Yeah. So no matter how great you're doing, they're going, oh, well, we don't want to give him more because then we got to take less. And, I've been here 7 years, he's been here 2 years. So it doesn't matter how long you're there or how great you're doing. Like there's glass ceilings everywhere around you. You can't see them, but they're there. So those guys were great to me. They never really took me on their team. I was always salaried and then out actually on my own, but optically looked like I was working with them. So after almost 4 years of that, or about 4 years of that, I went to a company called Colliers, Turley, Martin, Tucker. Yep. Which is now essentially Cushman & Wakefield. They merged, and it was a strategic good move. I was working, call it the second person on the team instead of the fourth, and I was going to be exposed to more institutional landlord work, which for some reason I thought was going to be really important, and it's extremely important in my career today because I know how they work and evaluate properties and perform deals. So I went there and was doing my tenant work, cold calling and building business development and working on listings with these institutional landlords like pension funds, insurance companies, private equity, et cetera. Yeah. And as my skill set developed and as my just commercial real estate knowledge excelled, I'm going, wow, this is super strange for me. Like I have all these listings working with these building owners, landlords, but I also got all these tenants that I work with. Mm-hmm. And when I'm touring my clients looking at vacancies, I'm looking at a handful of properties my other clients own. And it just felt for me really conflicting. Like I can't do both. So I made a conscious decision 5 years after that to either become a full-time tenant representation guy or be a landlord guy. Just pick one and be the best at one.
Yeah.
And I mean, this will kind of come full circle to what you said to start this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm kind of living in this white collar world, but a blue collar guy.
Yeah.
And a handful of people told me that in this business early on throughout the kind of call it the first 9 years, like, Tim, dude, you're never going to make it. You're just not a corporate. You're not polished. You're not fancy. You're not wearing the loafers or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I always took that and let it sink in, and it fueled me more.
Yeah.
But I did know deep down, like, I'm not this schmoozy corporate type guy. That's just not me. I want to work with the business owner that's got mud underneath his fingernails because he created this company and they're making widgets.
Yeah.
Those are the, and don't get me wrong. I like the CFOs of the world today. They're my clients and I love them, but deep down, I'm a blue collar guy that's going to work hard. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do corporate real estate at a big firm. I'm going to start my own business, or I'm going to find something that is a good fit. And Ted Carlson had started Carlson Commercial. We were friends and colleagues at Welsh companies.
Yeah.
And he's a couple of years older than me. And they had a leaderboard at Welsh you could always see on the internet or whatever. And he was always like one of the top guys. I'm like, what is this guy doing? And so he and I started getting breakfasts, and I was picking his brain. What are you doing? And he was very helpful. So when he opened his deal, I called him. I said, let's talk. I want to hear what you're doing. Yeah. And it was, hey, I'm just doing tenant rep stuff. That's all I'm focused on. I don't want to work with landlords anymore. I'm working with tenants. You interested? And I was very interested. So we joined forces in 2014.
Do you feel like, a little bit of a lead in here, but like that was a good opportunity for you to continue to dive into your personal brand and that unapologetic authenticity that you carry of just who you are? And, Ted, I met Ted a handful of times, and he doesn't seem like the type of person that's going to tell you what to do or how to wear, anything like that, which is probably why he started his own firm, was like, F everybody else. I'm going to do my own thing. And probably why you two get along so good.
Yeah. That's such a good question. I love that question. And for the first 10 years of my career, I had mentors and bosses, and times were a little different, but we were wearing suits. We were wearing a full suit and tie. Yep. And I went over to Carlson Commercial, and when Ted listens to this, if he does, I mean, he's not the best dressed guy. He's going to wear what he wants to wear. Like, he's just like, looks like he's going out on a hike. If you see him in the office, and that's just who he is. So like the first year I'm wearing these ties and suits, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, well, we're professional. We gotta dress like this. Then something one day just clicked. I just said a deep dive into myself and going, okay, who am I and what am I doing? I'm looking at guys like John Roush in our business, who's super successful on the land side of things. And he's wearing cowboy boots, cowboy hats, and like Santa Claus Christmas shirts. I'm like, but that's just who he is. He's like, I'm going to be me. And the biggest thing that changed, one of the things that changed my career was becoming authentic to who I am. Yeah. I'm not trying to be who my mentors are, talk like them, dress like them, buy the same watch or whatever. I just started to be myself. Dress like how I want to dress, act like the way I want to walk, or walk how I want to walk, just whatever it was, right? So being authentic to who I was, Carlson Commercial at the time, or now Carlson Partners, obviously, but Carlson Commercial allowed me to be authentic to who I was and build my own brand.
When did you become all right, you started there, and then there was obviously a trajectory. When did you become a business partner in the business? How long ago was that?
I want to say 2018.
Okay. All right. So let's call it 6 years ago or so. So in that trajectory, then you're having, from when you started in the industry, you're having all these conversations with business owners, the people that you really enjoy, mud under the fingernails, the salt of the earth type people that grew something from nothing. And then you become a business owner. Did that exposure to the numbers, exposure to the business side of things, and knowing that it had a direct correlation to how it's going to, the role it's going to play in your personal happiness and success and whatever that means. Did that dynamic change the conversations you're able to have then with other business owners?
Yeah, 100% it did. Not only am I writing the checks for rent, and it pains me. Like we're writing rent checks. Gosh, this is, if I could save 10% here, that's 10% that's going back to our house.
Yep.
So just understanding the bottom line was huge, right?
Yeah.
Marketing expenses. There's all these different expenses that are super important to me now that I really never thought about. And now I can have those conversations with these business owners or these decision makers. But also, almost more importantly, I was able to understand the importance of building a culture and how your real estate impacts your culture. Mm-hmm. And so asking more questions about what they're excited about with their company, with their employees, with their culture, or what's not going well with your culture, and just really take an even deeper dive was able to help me out. And I wouldn't have been able to ask those questions or know what questions to ask if I didn't sit in their same seat being a business owner.
All right. So let's go into some of the conversations you have with business owners, and then we're gonna head into 9 questions here. But I was thinking about this and kind of mentally prepping for this conversation, and I think this is actually a really good question. Like, I think what is a business owner that has on their P&L a real estate line, whether it be ownership or a lease or something like that? What should people be thinking about as they approach I think a little bit of the uncertainty around the economy, and, we're heading into an election year and all that other stuff, or we're in an election year and all that other stuff. What should business owners be thinking about for the midterm future? And midterm, I'm saying up to, let's say, 3 to 5 years.
Well, I think they need to build a plan, right? A lot of business owners, believe it or not, understand they got a lease coming up, but a lot of times they don't have the devil's in the details of the lease, right? And they're not really looking at the things they need to look at in the lease. Mm-hmm. So I always tell everybody, ask me, like, who's a good referral? Who should you talk to? When should you talk to them? Our company needs to talk to business owners like right now. I don't care if their lease is out 8 years, 10 years, 3 years, or 5. Just like wealth management, you need to build a plan. So we know where our company's going. We have this timeline in 3 years where this expires, but we need to know what's going to happen in those next 36 months. And we need to be prepared for road bumps, bad weather, so we wanted to take a right, but now we have to take a left. So we want to be there to help minimize their exposure.
All right. So then let's go. You're still a sales guy. Are you still smiling and dialing? Like, is cold calling still a thing? And you've got a healthy team now where you've got some younger reps that are earlier stage in their career. Are you that guy now that has got people making phone calls for you, or are you still banging the phones?
I do. It's like a drug to me. Like, I do love the cold call. They're just a little bit different today than they used to be. And, I was making 100 calls a day when I was new in the business. Now I'm making, 5 real cold calls a week. But with technology and people in my network and who they know, they're easy introductions. Yeah. You got LinkedIn and, hey, you're connected here. Can you make an intro? So it's a little easier today. But I do take a lot of pride in my associates aren't calling for me. They're calling for themselves. And I urge that, like, bring me to meetings only to help you. Don't bring me to meetings because it's my business and I want a piece of, your hard work. Build your business. There's no glass ceilings at Carlson Partners. So that's such an advantage you have here. Build your business, work as hard as you want to work. And I am here to help and mentor.
Last business question, then I want to talk about your family a little bit. What role do you see technology / AI / all of the hot things that are going on right now in the technology world? What role does that have an impact on your business at Carlson Partners? And what role does it have in your industry, do you think, in commercial real estate?
I've been hearing about technology. It's going to be removing us advisors or brokers permanently. Technology's coming. They don't need you. But I'll tell you what, we're not going anywhere. The relationships, negotiation tactics, that we have and understand when we're negotiating a deal, I don't know how AI can do that, right? I know who I'm negotiating against. I know their strategy, and I've negotiated 50 deals against that landlord.
Yeah.
And I understand what my client wants and needs. I just don't see technology eliminating us, because the human touch it's a special thing when it comes to negotiating. It's really an art.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
technology's been great for us, helping with data, helping with market drivers, listings and all the stuff. But technology, we're advisors like me, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It just can't. It just won't happen.
Yeah, I think it'll have a bigger impact on maybe the residential market just because of the amount of transactions that probably happen. And, you're already starting to see how fees are being addressed and some of those things on that side of things. I just think that commercial is just so much, sorry to the people that are listening that are residential people, but I just think the commercial side is just so much more complex that there's going to need to be some really big strides made in the AI side of things that are going to have to be that are going to replace a human.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Okay. There's so many similarities that you and I have on the personal side, minus kids, right? I don't have kids. You got a couple kids, but so you live on a hobby farm in Afton. I'm on the west side of town. You're on the east side of town. We got about the same amount of acreage. We love doing the same things. And you're a dog guy, so you got a couple dogs. Oh, yeah. So tell me a little bit about your family. Share with our listeners and viewers what you got going on the personal side.
Yeah, so we do have a lot of similarities, which is why we get along so well. When we have coffee or whatever, we just talk about our personal stuff and business for like a minute at the end. But I live in Afton. Yeah, I got 9 acres of land. I thought that was going to be enough, but now I'm like, gosh, I wish I had 190. But it's super fun. I mean, I got a little tractor. My wife has taken a liking to this stuff too, which I love, because she wanted to live in suburbia America, house right next door. And I convinced her this is going to be great. So she's into the planting. She's got these raised beds she loves.
Sweet.
This year I've created an area that I'm going to make a really big garden, probably be like a 50 by 50 garden, probably a little bigger. So yeah, we're gardeners. I got a spot for the chicken coop that's coming next year.
Sweet.
And my wife is the nerd. Like, she's into it. She's read all the books. These are going to be like her babies. But yeah, I get to hunt on my land, bow hunt. I've had bears on my land. I've had mountain lions on my land, on my trail cams. Like, it's amazing. We love it. Been there we built our house 5 years ago now. This will be our 5th summer. It's a ton of fun. I mean, there's endless amounts of work to do, which I love.
Yeah, right. I mean, to me, that's this time of year has been, and we're recording this end of May, Friday, Memorial Day weekend. And so to me, I get more excited about the things I get to do outside, just getting my hands dirty and screwing around in the yard. Sometimes I don't even have anything to do. I just like going and I'll create things to do just so I'm outside and tinkering. Totally.
I will, as I get older and I have less time and I have these kids and wife, and I quit my gym membership. Like, I can't get to the gym during the middle of the day. I want to get my kids off to school, so I'm there at home in the morning. I really want to be active with my kids and involved. So I canceled my gym membership, so I do more work in the yard. Right?
Yeah.
I got a splitter, but if I can, I choose to split with an axe versus doing the hydraulic splitter. So I'm finding ways to try to be more healthy and stay in shape and be active in the yard. And I've told my wife, like, just give me 1 hour a day. I know you think I'm going up there, I love to do it, and I do, but I just want to get some exercise while I'm doing it.
Well, we had Mike Jones on this podcast, I don't know, a couple months ago, and he's a CrossFit guy, and he started Alchemy 365 and all that stuff. Yeah. And he flat out told me, I think it was even on the podcast, like, as a coach, I'd rather see you go out and do a bunch of yard work, split wood, lift things, stuff like that, than go to the gym any day, because that's how our bodies are meant to be used. And an hour a day of doing yard work and stuff like that is going to equal any kind of CrossFit or anything like that.
Oh, for sure. And Mike might not know me, but I did go to his CrossFit gym for many years. So I did CrossFit for about 8 years, and I understand functional fitness. If there was a camera on me watching me work in my yard, people would laugh, because I'll get a couple pieces of wood and I'll do some front squats.
Yeah, I love that.
I'll look around like, did anybody see that? No. Okay, good. I'll pull those out.
So I know your wife's name is Shelby. You have Teddy and Knox, and Knox is your youngest boy, and I follow you on Instagram and stuff like that. You know, I already feel terrible about being a dog dad. I don't know the name of your dogs. You have two dogs, two labs.
I do.
You're a lab guy like me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've always had labs. Actually, I didn't have dogs growing up, but as soon as I became an adult and graduated college, I started getting labs. So I have Roy. Roy's my white lab. He's 11, going on 12. And he is just a warrior. Both back legs, ACL reconstruction, beat cancer twice.
Oh, I love it.
We thought he just had cancer again a couple of weeks ago. We went in and he was good. Like, this dog has 9 lives. He won't die. And he's thriving and smiling at me right now. Then we got Marty. Marty's kind of our like jock athlete dog. He's 5 years old. He's a black lab. He's a giant. He's almost 90 pounds. He's just a gentle giant. We love him. He's great. And like literally they're best friends.
Love it. All right, let's take another quick break. Let's listen to a few of our community supporters. We're going to come back with Tim. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to do 9 questions, quick fire style. And then we're going to both go on our way and enjoy Memorial Day weekend. So let's come right back here with a few of our community supporters.
Tradition Capital Bank is a local bank that has the products and capabilities to service middle market companies, nonprofits, and their owners, employees, and families by offering a high-touch approach paired with customizable solutions. Think of them as your nimble ally serving with generosity, care, and precision. Tradition starts with the assumption that there's always more to learn, try, and discover, aiming to find the best yes for whomever they have the privilege of working beside. From a foundation of trust, Tradition takes disciplined, smart risks to help people grow beyond what they even thought possible. Tradition Capital Bank is the second largest privately owned bank headquartered in the Twin Cities, and with locations in Edina, Wayzata, and North Oaks, Minnesota, alongside their office in Scottsdale, Arizona, Tradition Capital Bank is committed to big bank offerings with a small bank ethos. Let their team be the friend you need in your next financial move. United Healthcare is dedicated to helping people live healthier lives and making the health system work better for everyone by simplifying the healthcare experience, meeting consumer health and wellness needs, and sustaining trusted relationships with care providers. UHC is continually focused on building a modern, high-performing health system via improved access, affordability, outcomes, and experiences. With a network of over 1.6 million physicians and healthcare professionals in over 6,000 hospitals, United Healthcare is dedicated to connecting employers and their employees to better health by offering quality benefits designed for affordability. For more information, visit United Healthcare at www.uhc.com. United Healthcare, helping people live healthier lives. The topic of talent is hot in organizations of any size, and I would argue none more than small to mid-sized businesses. That's why it's crucial to have a partner to help you navigate all the HR idiosyncrasies so you can focus on working on your business and not in it. Insperity is a full-service HR partner with a high-touch, high-tech platform helping owners work through challenges like employee retention, company culture, and benefits, just to name a few. Do yourself a favor and explore all they have to offer at Insperity.com. Insperity, HR that makes a difference. Regardless if you're a startup just figuring things out or a medium-sized organization with a full team, having a legal partner by your side is crucial. Seiler Law is fiercely loyal to their clients and are passionate about removing headaches and roadblocks that can pop up during the growth of your business. Whether you need general outside counsel, are planning a business transaction, or even need someone to guide you through the estate planning process, the team at Seiler Law are the advocates for you. Visit SeilerLaw.com to learn more. Seiler Law, where experience meets pragmatism. Mason Jar Marketing helps businesses bridge the gap between marketing and sales so they can crush goals. They're a collaborative partner, one who translates strategic priorities into actionable, goal-aligned tactics. You can count on them to deliver creative expertise and flawless execution for all marketing channels, no hand-holding required. If you're ready for a partner who listens well, thinks big, acts fast, and drives results, schedule a complimentary marketing needs assessment at masonjarmarketing.com. In addition to our amazing prospering and thriving level supporters, we want to shine a spotlight on our equally amazing evolving level supporters. Alliant Insurance Services, Bauer Design Build, Beyond Design Resource Group, Entrabank, Fluid Interiors, and Modern Foundation. All of the Coalition 9 community supporters can be found at coalition9.com/community-supporters.
All right, we're back with Tim Olsen. Tim, this is your first podcast, so sorry. I apologize in advance. I'm going to try and be as easy as I can on you here. Can you confirm that you have no idea what I'm about to ask you with these 9 questions?
I have no idea. I'm a little nervous.
All right, good. I like nervous. I did take it easy. So let's start out with an easy one here. Number one, what are three words that describe you?
um, Passionate, driven, and caring.
There you go. I like that. I think a fourth one would be authentic too. We talked about that multiple times, but I love the three that you outlined. Number two, what was the first album that you ever owned, whether it was gifted to you or you purchased on your own?
I can't remember, but the first band that comes to mind is Dave Matthews.
Yeah, sweet. You big
I love
Dave Matthews.
I love Dave. Yeah, we did Alpine Valley for, I don't know, 7 years in a row.
Yeah, sweet. What is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
My wife's cooking. No, just kidding. I don't know. Maybe an octopus or something like that. That was raw.
I had eel and it was terrible.
Yeah, nasty.
Yeah, that's shit. What is one thing that immediately brightens your day?
My kids.
Love it. What is one quality in a person that impresses you?
Authenticity.
I always feel like that too, when you like the people you surround yourself with. And, you know, if I meet somebody and they say they're really good friends with you, I can see it in them. You know, it's almost like you're very intentional with the people you surround yourself with. So absolutely. I don't doubt that for a second. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Life's too short to have assholes in your life. What is one thing that you have deep gratitude for right now?
My family, my wife and kids.
Yeah.
Super great. I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah. Good. All right. A little more complicated one here. If you could give a TED talk on anything except something related to your career, what would it be?
I'd like to give a little bit of a TED talk to maybe youth in a tough spot in their home life.
That you might want to shove that one in your back pocket. You got a great story there of some resiliency and a story that could be told. So if you're working on that, I'm cheering you on. Let's amplify that shit. Yeah. What do you actually enjoy spending money on?
Like tools. I like buy tools, backpack blower, or just tinkering type stuff, right? I need another chainsaw blade or another chainsaw. But we like to travel. Our family, we like to travel. I didn't hop into a plane until I was 22 years old. Mm-hmm. So we're exposing our children to different places, and we'd like to travel. So I'm not scared to spend some money on travel.
Yeah.
And nice hotels.
Yeah. I love nice hotels. I don't like staying in shitty hotels.
No.
Going back to the tool thing, I don't want to go down a huge rabbit hole here, but you just kind of sparked my curiosity on something. So we have this, I shoot trap on Wednesday nights with a bunch of guys that I live by here, and I love those guys. I mean, I'd rather spend time with those guys than I would probably a lot of business people that I know. But the big debate is DeWalt, Milwaukee. Are you a DeWalt guy or a Milwaukee guy?
Oh man, I'm nervous answering this, but I'm a Milwaukee guy.
Me too. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I just think it's just, and there's some people that are hardcore DeWalt people, and I get it, but boy, I switched over to Milwaukee a handful of years ago, and I love their shit.
Yeah, man, I got this impact drill, like I can't get it out of my hand. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, so good. And their chainsaw, I don't know if you've got their battery powered chainsaw, but their battery powered chainsaw is one of the best investments I ever made.
All right, dude. Yeah, I just had this discussion with my brother-in-law. Like, I got steel everything. All my chainsaws are steel, backpack blower, weed whipper, everything steel. Yep. So I did buy a steel battery chainsaw. And those battery chainsaws are a complete game changer in my life.
They're so light, and I could do that forever. All right. All right. Sorry. Good. I'm glad we got that figured out. If I see a Milwaukee t-shirt,
all the important things were discussed. Great.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Last question. So we talked about some travel, how much you love to travel. I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball at you here. If you could go on a weekend vacation with two people on Earth, not your wife and family, who would those people be and why?
I don't know. I'd have to put a lot of more thought into it, but this is the two people that came into my brain right away. Perfect. Were kind of the two dads that mentored me growing up. Like, just
sweet,
go kick back, have a couple beers, and just reminisce about old times and current times.
Where would you go?
Both these guys are outdoorsmen, so maybe we'd head up to the Boundary Waters or somewhere, just kind of camping and getting off the grid.
I love that. You survived 9 questions. That was a great answer too, by the way. That last one, you sent that one home.
Yeah, thanks, man. This was actually really fun. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, you're great at it, dude. So let's people need to know who you are, and that's what I love about doing this podcast. I love hosting it because I learn new things about people that come on that are my friends like you and stuff. But then also I love being able to amplify all the good work that you do, and hopefully there's some people that need your services or just think, hey, Tim's a great dude. I'd like to get to know him.
Yeah.
How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can give me a call on my cell phone, 651-558-1400 or carlsonpartnersllc.com. Look us up.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. This was a fun experience. You're doing great things. And again, I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you as well. Our community is better. Our C9 community is better with you in it. Our greater Twin Cities community is better with you in it as well. And, you were an early adopter to this, and you were even the first iteration of Coalition9 before it was what it is now. You are all in on it. And to me, that means the world having people like you in our corner.
Yeah, I remember we sat down, we had coffee, and I remember where we were at what table. You're like, this is what I'm going to be doing. So this is perfect. This is perfect for you, man. You're going to be great at this. So I don't think I was in the first group, but I think I was like number 2 or 3.
Yep. Yeah. I think you're in the second or third group. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, can't thank you enough. On behalf of Tim, this has been the Power of 9 podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Eggert, and I want to thank you for the privilege of your time.